Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Hope everybody's having a good day. Good morning to you. And just want to give a shout out to everybody that checked out the last video, the very first top 10 that I ever did here on the State of the Saints podcast. And I hope you all enjoyed that. But I just want to talk a little bit, a few minutes about Michael Thomas. I want to talk about Michael Thomas because, as we know, Michael Thomas has been dealing with an ankle injury for almost 2 years now. And we all know how important Michael Thomas is to the success of the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he has broken NFL records. He has broken team records. He's been arguably the greatest wide receiver the New Orleans Saints have ever had in their existence. And Michael Thomas has been greatly missed. The last time we seen Michael Thomas play a full season, he was the offensive player of the year. The first time wide receiver did that since Jerry Rice in the 90s. So now we see video of Michael Thomas. I'm pretty sure some of you already seen it. And if you have not, I encourage you to check out the State of the Saints podcast Facebook page. You'll be able to see it. But Michael Thomas, in a beautiful scenery, by the way. I mean, he's running routes. I have to believe that was in California, but he was out there running routes and stuff like that. And he showed like he was more explosive. He's even faster than he was with the last video that he put out. And it just showed you that he is ready to go back to being a Michael Thomas that we all thought that he could be. Here's the reality, man. I think that the pressures of seeing some of these other wide receivers make plays is one of the reasons why we're actually seeing this. There's been very little transparency from Michael Thomas in the past when he's been dealing with an injury. Like, you don't really see much. He hasn't really been on social media, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you got Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave as your teammates, and it's not one of those situations where everybody just hoping and praying and wishing that you come back. And the Saints are trying to be as competitive as possible, and they understand over the last couple of years the offense, the wide receivers have been stagnant. They have not been doing what they need to do in order for this offense to be efficient. So Dennis Allen, along with Mickey Loomis and the Saints coaching staff, have brought in guys to push that group. And, some people are upset, you're losing some of the guys that we wish and hope that can end up being really good. Like the Saints lost Lil Jordan Humphreys. There's still like a possibility that you might lose some of those familiar guys that we know about. But I like it this way. I don't feel like no player needs to go into camp unless he's just certified undeniable, like Aaron Donald or like a J.J. Watt or Cam Jordan. I don't feel like nobody should go into camp with their position solidified, and nobody should feel that way. There should always be a level of competition, even for those guys that are all pros and guys that are mainstay players. So I think by bringing in wide receivers is going to push Michael Thomas to be the best. Michael Thomas is one of the best receivers in the league, and he has been one of those guys that has played with a chip on his shoulder from his rookie campaign. I mean, we all know about the trademark, him putting his finger over his lip, the whole campaign, hashtag, nobody saw me coming, but be quiet now, I'm in the room, you ain't gonna never see me coming. So I think that Michael Thomas plays well with a chip on his shoulder, and it's good to see him come back. I think that you're going to see a more inspired Michael Thomas. He's had a couple of years to look at the NFL, the landscape of the wide receivers, and also all those guys coming in, the young guys like the T. Higgins and the Jamar Chase and the Justin Jeffersons, and Devontae Smiths, like guys like that have come in and solidified themselves as being some of the top young receivers in the league. And then you have guys like Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, individuals like that that have grown with him. Even Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. They have grown with him, and those guys have pretty much, kind of surpassed him, and people have had a tendency of forgetting about Michael Thomas. So this is a great opportunity for him to, come back and show everybody that he is still one of the best wide receivers in the league. But I like to read some of your comments, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, let's go. Ramsey says, "How you doing, T.J. Jones? We got the big announcement of her life. The new God of War is coming out the 11th, 9th of 2022. God of War Ragnarok, PS4 and PS5." Well, Ramsey, thank you very much for the information for all the video gamers out there. Hope that everybody got that information. Let me see. Many are calmed, but few are chosen. Kingston. That comes from Josh. Josh says therapy time. Yeah, man, therapy time. It's funny you saying that because honestly, I'm doing this show right now because I think I need a little bit of therapy. Some things that went on that's kind of personal. You know what I'm saying? So thought that I'd just be able to do some Saints talk to kind of relieve some stress, man. But also speaking of that, have the first episode of the new podcast entitled the Therapy Couch Podcast that's coming out this week. I'm probably going to launch it probably tomorrow or Friday. So I'm asking everybody if you can check it out. It's going to be called the Therapy Couch Podcast. I'll pretty much have that information up. I'll probably put it in the description later on in the day. So for those that are checking out this podcast right now, first, I ask that you hit the like button. And secondly, I ask that you pass back and look in the description so you can click the link in order for you to be added to the Therapy Couch Podcast YouTube channel. It's going to be a different approach, man. It's going to be for those that deal with anxiety, depression, some of the things that we deal with in life. And we're also going to be able to talk about it and, discuss our feelings. And also, you're probably going to learn some things about me that you probably didn't know. The first episode that I'm going to be talking about something that really happened to me personally as a kid growing up and how it shaped me as an adult. So that's going to be episode number 1. So be on the lookout for the Therapy Couch Podcast link that I'm about to put in the description probably after this show is over. So all those that are checking it out, once again, just come back to this page, go to the description, and you'll be able to see the Therapy Couch Podcast link. That's if you're into that type of thing. I know some people just want to hear sports. But the true question is, we have to wait until we see it in the game. That's when we know by week 8 or 9, we know if Mike T is Mike T. That's a good question. That's a good statement right there. I think that it shouldn't take that long. I do think that you're probably going to see some setback. I don't want to say setback, but you're probably going to see some noticeable difference in order for him to work himself back into football shape. It's been almost 2 years since you took a hit. It's been almost 2 years that you actually went up against some actual competition. So I expect for them to kind of, him not to be the same coming out the gate. If he is, that's pretty incredible and pretty remarkable, by him. But I expect for them to be, some slight changes before he kind of works his way back into, the shape that, he needs to be in to play the game. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Time for a pancakey. Good morning, TJ and the State of Saints podcast. Good morning, everyone watching around the world. Hope you are safe and well. Let's get into it. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I see a couple of people that just following in. Once again, I asked everybody to hit the like button if you have not already. And a question I will put here, TJ Jones, as well. How will Jameis Winston hold up on the right side since we don't have a right guard anymore? I expect for that to be a shot at Cesar Ruiz. I don't know, man. I just hope that Cesar Ruiz has gotten better. You know what I'm saying? He worked in the offseason with some really good offensive linemen, some of the top trainers that you can find. So hopefully that pays dividends. Hopefully he plays better. Hopefully he plays with a chip on his shoulder, and hopefully he plays inspired. Because like last year, I feel like there was a lack of competition in camp. I think guys that kind of felt like, okay, I'm the guy. I didn't feel like there were guys that can push other guys to reach their full potential. I think that you're going to see that this season. I think you're going to see that this training camp, and I like it. Don't have anybody come in and feel like they got everything and more. Don't let anybody feel like they're the is all and be all at their position. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Cam. I don't care if it's Lattimore. Like you bring guys in that's going to push these guys for them to be at the top of their game. Because guess what? I mean, every single week the team that you're going up against, they don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? They don't care what type of threat that you give them. They're going to come out there and they're going to try to play as hard as they possibly can, and they're going to try to make sure that they win that competition every single rep. So that's the way I look at it. Chemo says smash that like button. I agree. Hoodie Juice says Derek L. I got your jersey. Let me see. Ordered being shipped to me soon. Also orders your hat and will be shipped to me soon as well. All right. Saw the video and it looked like he doesn't fully trust the ankle just yet when cutting, but he's close, just my opinion. Well, I don't know, man. I just think that, he just trying to take it one day at a time. I mean, the season isn't tomorrow, even though training camp is in a few weeks. I mean, no need for you to be out there, just going balls to the wall and trying to do everything that you can. You know what I'm saying? I just think that he's going to be just fine. I've seen more explosion than I did when he put out his first video. And the fact that he's actually running. Anybody ever dealt with an ankle injury? Some people dealt with a deltoid injury, which is the inner ligaments of the ankle. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard. And not to mention, it's just been an uphill battle for that dude. Who knows? Him coming back could have re-aggravated it. I mean, we don't know what type of position this dude's ankle is in. I mean, to him, you know what I'm saying, him running might be, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of a miracle. I mean, we don't know the extent of what that injury was because the Saints don't really share injury information, which I feel like that's probably going to be different with Dennis Allen. I noticed that Dennis Allen has been a little bit more transparent with the injury, more so than Sean Payton was. Ramsey, they fixed the right guard position this offseason by signing Hoodie Jew. He's one of the best right guards in free agency, and we got him. Can't wait. Let's see. T.J. was playing Madden 17 Tuesday night, and Michael Thomas, as a rookie, scored 3 touchdowns from Drew Brees, and the Saints crushed the Rams 49-7. Hope you didn't have that on rookie. You're playing it on rookie because if you play it on rookie, it don't count. I'm just playing, man. Yeah. I mean, to me, like some of those older Madden games are probably better than more of the modern Madden games. Because I think the more modern Madden games are so focused on graphics, like how realistic these guys look coming out of the tunnel. And I don't think they really put emphasis on, the playing style, you know what I'm saying, the elusiveness, the jukes and all that kind of stuff that they did in some of those earlier gen games. So I'm actually, man, I actually been playing my Xbox 360 as of lately. I've been playing college football, man. I've been trying to, turn Marshall University into a powerhouse. They went from being a 2-star university. Now I got them at like a 4-star. So we've been recruiting pretty hard. But it also just makes me miss like those college football games. I heard that they're going to try to bring it back next year. That's going to be exciting. I mean, I think those college football games are better than those NFL games. And I also like the fact that, like, when you used to play college football, like, you're able to export your college football players into Madden. I like that, like, where you can actually build these guys up from high school to college and then to the pros. It put everything full circle. I used to love those games, which, like I said, I'm just playing my Xbox 360. Made me really start to like fully enjoy playing college football, man. Good morning, TJ. Hopefully, Mike T has been increasing his football IQ over the last 2 years. Well, I don't think anything was wrong with his football IQ. I think we have to be careful with this. I mean, the guy sustained an injury, and I think that sometimes when guys are gone and we become frustrated because we know how much of a difference maker those guys are when we lose them. We have a tendency to like really just start to, nitpick. And I'm not saying you're doing that, Jace, but we have a tendency of nitpicking because we want those guys back. And I think a part of us is like we try to do that so we can try to minimize that production of a person. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think anything was wrong with this dude football IQ. I mean, if you've been following his career from his rookie season to the time where he was playing full time, he got better every single year. And that's what you want out of a player. You want a player to develop every single year. You want to see different nuances to their game every single year. You want to see that guy grow every single year. So I don't think anything is wrong with it. And I think that, Michael Thomas is one of the best in the league. I don't think chemistry should be an issue because we've seen this dude catch 149 catches from Drew Brees, Taysom Hill, and Teddy Bridgewater in the same year. All right. And he didn't miss a beat. Okay. He was able to catch passes from each and every one of those guys, and he had chemistry. So I don't feel like it's going to be any different. TJ, question for you. Comfortable with Hurts or Penning at left tackle, or go for free agency guys like Nick Soder, Eric Fisher, Dwayne Brown? Uh, Look, I feel like if you spent the first round draft pick on a left tackle, you should try to use him. Here's the thing. If Trevor Penning ends up being anything more than what the Saints already thought he would be, he's going to start. He's going to start. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, you don't put a first round draft pick on a bench if you can help it, right? If he comes in and he's raw and he still needs a little work and they need a little fine tuning, then you're probably going to see James Hurts. But to me, I feel like this is Trevor Penning's opportunity. And if Trevor Penning end up being solid on the offensive line to borderline above solid on the offensive line, he going to end up starting. I mean, they want to find ways to get him on the field. So the only reason James Hurts will play if Trevor Penning just not working out at all, like he just raw and like they just feel like he just need time to develop, like really legitimately. That's the only reason I can see. I don't see them going out here getting another left tackle like Nick Soder, Eric Fisher. I don't see that. Because I mean James Hurts to me is a solid tackle. He's a solid sub guy that can go across the line, and he gives you solid production. TJ, I guess I'm in a minority because I think all our injured players should take it slow and steady as long as they're ready for game number one. I'm good. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think you're in a minority with that. If that's the case, then I am too, because I don't feel like anybody should just be pushing themselves. And if you're a fan of the player and the team, you shouldn't want them to push themselves either. You should want these guys to gradually come back. And at the wide receiver position, I don't feel like I mean, you have to say today, on July the 6th, as we're recording this show, that you don't have that level of anxiety when it comes to the wide receiver position as you once did around this time last year when we didn't know about Michael Thomas and he didn't get the surgery. Like, you were frustrated about the condition of the wide receiver. This year, you don't have that. Even though Michael Thomas is coming back from injury, the additions of Jarvis Landry and the addition of Chris Olave kind of put your mind at ease because you feel like the Saints have two receivers that can be able to pick up the slack, regardless if Michael Thomas is there or not. Like you don't feel that level of anxiousness about the wide receiver position. So I feel like, you should want these guys to gradually come back. And also this gives other guys an opportunity to really step up and get more reps than they normally would, right? This gives Jameis Winston an opportunity to develop chemistry with two guys that were not there last year. Regardless if we've seen things behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston were doing something. Now, it probably wasn't transparent. It probably was something that was closed off to the media because they didn't want the media to be asking so many questions about, like, why, like, why are they catching passes at practice, but they weren't out there or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they try to keep those things in house. I'm pretty sure the chemistry between Jameis and Michael is more ahead of the chemistry between Jameis, Chris Olave, and Jarvis Landry. And by Michael Thomas being out of the equation, it gives Jameis Winston the opportunity to develop chemistry with his new receivers. And if Michael Thomas just so happens to have to, still be dealing with some issues, you still have an opportunity to make some noise offensively because you have two guys that develop chemistry with OTAs during minicamp and training camp with the starting quarterback, Jameis Winston. Man, I'm excited. We won 9 games playing quarterback carousel with who we added and coming back from injury. This team is super talented. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the injuries that they sustained last year took played a huge role in the Saints not being able to. Come on, camera with y'all. Let y'all see me. All right. So anyway, I think that the injuries that were sustained um, by the New Orleans Saints played a huge role in them not being able to win some of those games. We know about the losing streak that they went on. I don't think you would have that losing streak if Jameis Winston was there. I don't think you would have that losing streak if Alvin Kamara didn't get injured or the offensive line. I don't think you would have those injuries. 57 variations of a starting lineup, play a toll will take a toll on any team. The fact that the Saints weren't picking in the top 5 or the top 10, it pretty much is a testament to how good this coaching staff and this team is and to buying in to what the organization is trying to do. It shows the pride of the men on the field. It shows the depth of the guys that are out there, regardless to if it is the next man up mentality. Yes, the next man may not be as talented and as physically gifted or athletic as the guy that started, but they still take a level of pride in their job. So, it's a plus. So you add this season, and of course, it's looking good on paper. I keep emphasizing paper because we don't know what is going to happen. We don't know how things are going to end up. It looks good on paper, but we're thinking about the battle of attrition playing a role. We're looking at guys that probably were injured and missed so many games last year, being able to weather the storm and play better this year. So there's a lot of things that's going on. But if everything goes right, I definitely agree. We should be one of the best teams. The New Orleans Saints should be one of the best teams in the league. Off-topic question, TJ. Would you rank Dak Prescott higher than Jameis at the quarterback position based on each player's resume thus far in their careers? To be honest with you, yes, I would rank Dak Prescott higher than Jameis Winston at this stage of their career. Now, that doesn't I think when people look at rankings, they look at physical talent. Like if you're looking at like physical talent, I feel like Jameis Winston is more physically talented at the quarterback position as Dak Prescott. But Dak Prescott has been more successful as a starting quarterback than Jameis Winston. He has won playoff games. He has been a number 1 seed. He has galvanized his team. You know what I'm saying? He has done some things, to put him in that position. And not to mention, he's always going to get that leap forward, that little step forward because he is a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. That doesn't have anything to do with why I'm saying this. I'm just saying when it comes to what is more important, which is success, right? You have to put him ahead of Jameis Winston because rather it's Jameis' fault or not, the fact is he has not success. He has never won a playoff game, right? As a starting quarterback. He has never won a division as a starting quarterback. And like I said, some people say it's not his fault, but at the same time, we know that's just not how it works, right? People judge quarterbacks on wins, successful moments. But I have to say it, man. I like Jameis a lot. I got a lot of respect for him. And I'm in no way saying that his career can't end better than Dak Prescott. But based on what they have done in their careers, you have to say Dak Prescott has had a more successful career than Jameis Winston. But like I said, there's not an indication that Jameis. I feel like Jameis is still more physically gifted than Dak Prescott is. What up, TJ? I'm loving how hard Mike T is working, man. Yeah, me too, man. I'm glad to see him coming back and trying to really push himself to be that same All Pro that he was when he left. Hey TJ, this is a little off topic, but where do you rank Willie Roaf on the greatest Saint of all time list? Where do I rank Willie Roaf? Uh, to me, I would rank Roaf probably third all time on the Saints list. No, I'm not. Honestly, I'll take that back. I rank him. I rank him. Yeah, I rank him third. I rank him third. I have Drew Brees number one. I have Ricky Jackson number two, and I have Willie Roaf number three. Um, I have Archie Manning number four. Like I just think that Archie Manning is so well respected. I think that a lot of people give him that notch, because he played for the New Orleans Saints during the time when they were terrible, and he was basically the cologne on a stanky body. You know what I'm saying? Like so people give him that type of respect. But as for me, um, I think you have to take into account Willie Rose's career, all in all. Okay, not only when he left the Saints to go to the Kansas City Chiefs, did he get better, and he still maintained his All Pro, Pro Bowl status. He still was like one of the greatest guards to ever play. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like he was one of the best offensive linemen to play. Period. Point blank. Period. Like what I'm saying? Like one of the best guards, one of the best tackles that you can ever have. You know what I'm saying? Like in the National Football League. So, I would have to make him like number three. Ricky Jackson to me, definitely one of the best. Like I said, I have like Archie Manning number four on my list. But yeah, I have him ranked. I have him ranked like number three. Jameis to Jerry touchdown. What a catch and what a block by Who did you? Marcus Davenport, Peyton Turner breakout year. Am calling it and greeting and who that TJ. Yeah, I hope so. Those are two guys that we're hoping that steps up and plays well. It's unfortunate that Davenport heard that he had part of his finger amputated. It just shows you the price that you pay to play a tough game in football. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? Football is not an easy sport to play for those that probably played at some level. It's not easy. So imagine, guys making millions upon millions of dollars to do it. And, it shows you, what I'm saying, the price these guys pay. I mean, we heard about the legendary, Ronnie Lott story, you know what I'm saying? Like where he got his finger amputated, you know what I'm saying, in the middle of a game in order to go back out there and play. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys do so much to try to make sure that they're on the field on Sunday. And sometimes, I do feel like it's kind of unfair. We go at them because, I think a lot of us are really frustrated at them not being out there. But those guys do pay an ultimate price. But as far as your statement about Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner, I expect for those guys to have a big season. I expect for those guys to really step up. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. Good morning, TJ and the Who Dat family. TJ, can you tell me if the public will be allowed to go to training camp and what restrictions are there likely to be? I don't think there are going to be any restrictions, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have, you're going to be able to show up to training camp. Of course, like the publication, what I'm saying, the rules and regulations have not come out just yet, but I'm pretty sure whatever they have, what I'm saying, the fans are going to be able to come out. So, a lot of these things that we were sticking to during the pandemic are starting to loosen up. And I expect for to be a nice little turnout out there. I think Penny start week one. He's too nasty to sit on a bench. Might need to work on some things, but he learned as he go. Dude got that nasty dog in him. Alfred, thank you very much for the $4.99. Yeah, like I said, I feel like if he goes out there and he's consistent and it's a tolerable consistency. Like, okay, man, can we live with this? Like, is he, what I'm saying, would that play be a hold? Like, is he, what I'm saying, like, is he getting beat on every play almost? You know what I'm saying? Like, those are grounds for you to sit down somewhere, right? Those are grounds for you to go ahead and chill and sit down somewhere. But if he goes out there and he's consistent and is tolerable, I think he's gonna end up starting. I mean, you want to start your first round draft pick. You don't want to waste a first round draft pick. You want to get them out there as soon as possible. And also, like at that position, I mean, the more reps that you take, the better you is. You know what I'm saying? You get acclimated to the speed of the game. So, TJ, I'm excited about Mike T and Olave and Jameis, but I'm most excited to see David Onyemata, aka Onyemama, every year. I become more impressive. He's low key my favorite Saint player. Love his game. Yeah, man, David Onyemata playing a full season is a plus. We know last year he missed 6 games for violating the league substance abuse policy, getting weed, getting weed mailed to his door. Not a very good thing. But he is back. He's going to be playing a full season. I think that's a plus. David Onyemata has really grown as an interior lineman. He's one of the best interior linemen in the league. He's definitely one of the best defensive players on the Saints team. Very underrated. Facts, TJ. Who that? Let's see. Also, Carlos of Uneducated Sports Talk at right tackle, along with Big Q at right guard. Alfred Andrews, I see pitting us in a hole from time to time due to just being raw. Well, yeah, like I said, if it's tolerable, Barber, then I think you need to start him. You know, long as what I'm saying, long as it ain't like a consistent thing. Are you ready, TJ, to play against Leon Apple, who that nation? Because we're supposed to play Cincinnati this season. Leon Apple, I don't know. Leon, I mean, I don't know, who Leon is, but Eli Apple talking about we ready. I mean, look, Eli Apple is nobody. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to what I expect out of shutdown, lockdown corners. I mean, average at best. I'm not going to say he's the worst cornerback I ever seen, but I think a lot of that happens. Look, it's two things. Number one, people have this bad taste in their mouth about Eli Apple. Number one, he was drafted to New York, which is a big media market, right? Number two is his mama, you know what I'm saying, who was just too heavily involved in his affairs. And number three, for some apparent reason, he you know, just became like this character, you know what I'm saying, talking trash and trying to be a keyboard warrior, like being something that you're absolutely not, only for you to be embarrassed on national television. Like I don't really concern myself with Eli Apple as a threat. Like I said, he's not the worst cornerback I've ever seen. I just think that if you're average, right, and people don't like you, you're below average, right? And if you're below average and people don't like you, you trash, right? But I think that he's an average cornerback. Do I feel like he can play in the National Football League in some capacity? Absolutely. Do I think that he's better than some cornerbacks I've seen? Yes. But, I just don't have any respect for anybody that doesn't try to be themselves. Like, if you're unapologetically you, then I have no problem with that. Like, people have problems with Richard Sherman and the trash talking, right? But Richard Sherman, that's who he was, right? That's who he was. Like, he wasn't trying to be something that he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? He was talking trash because that's who he was. That got him up for games. And he backed it up, right? He wasn't trying to do that to try to bring attention to his brand. He wasn't trying to do that and because of the old saying, any publicity is good publicity. Those are the people I don't respect. I don't respect anybody that is not genuinely, unapologetically them. And they play a role for monetary gain. They play a role for follows. They play a role for attention. It's only a matter of time before you get exposed. And that's what happened to him in the Super Bowl. But as far as like the Saints playing them, I'm not really concerned about that at all, to be quite honest with you. Quite honest, I mean, I don't even like. He's probably the fifth or sixth person I even think about when I think about Cincinnati Bengals. Hey, TJ, been a long time. How have you been? Super excited to see how all the pieces fit together this season. Yeah, how you doing, Ashley? Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, man, but football is back, man. It's coming back, and I'm excited about it. Going into the fifth season of the State of the Saints podcast, our fifth year. Really excited about the progress that we made over the last 5 years, and looking forward to all of the different things that's going to take place this season. Barbara and Dana and Coach Tab and Miss Carol and our Saints ladies or our medical staff make sure we good to go when we hit the field. Oh boy, Jerry, you bold for that comment in 2022. You bold for that comment in 2022. Oh man, oh boy, you bold for that one, Jerry. Also off topic, who you think the better quarterback, Jameis Winston or Joe Burrow? I'll put Joe Burrow, in my opinion, higher than Jameis Winston. Oh yeah, I mean I would too. I'll put him. I mean the guy appeared last time we seen Joe Burrow in the game, it was the Super Bowl, right? And the dude, like what I'm saying, took a snake bitten franchise to the Super Bowl, even though the Bengals have been to the Super Bowl in years past. Kenny Anderson led them back in the 80s when they got slapped around by the 49ers. I mean, the Bengals, they've been down over the last 15, 20 years, but there was a time when the Bengals were one of the best teams in the league. But you have to give him, you got to put him ahead of Jameis Winston. I mean, the last time you saw Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl. I think Drew Brees is better than Tom Brady with accuracy, breaking the records before Tom Brady did. Let me see. Did Hugh Brees is more gifted than Tom Brady? His wins are by players for Brady. Well, let me try to see if I can paraphrase that a little bit, Ramsey. I assume you're saying that Drew Brees is better than Tom Brady. Um, they're always going to give Tom Brady, the stamp of approval because of how successful he's been, and it's hard not to. I mean, you can talk about the controversial fashion of some of those Super Bowls. You can talk about Spygate. You can talk about deflated footballs and all that kind of noise there. But when it all comes down to it, I mean, you're measured by success. It's unfair. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just how modern day sports fans, sports pundits work. You know what I'm saying? That's like when you start talking about players, how many Super Bowls they got, or how many games they won, how many playoff appearances they had. Drew Brees, to me, when it comes to the quarterback position, yes, he is more accurate than Tom Brady. Do I feel like Drew Brees in Foxborough, Massachusetts, will be able to win as many Super Bowls as Tom Brady? Yes, I do. I feel like, I just think that where you are matters. Tom Brady was a very gifted quarterback, but the New England Patriots, they put a team around him defensively. Bill Belichick, regardless if you like him or not, to me is the best coach in my generation. He put players around Tom Brady, help him to succeed. It does help that two of your Super Bowls you had arguably the best kicker in NFL history in Adam Vinatieri. Those are two Super Bowls. You have, you know, I mean, you had a couple of situations where things kind of fell in your favor. So I do feel like if Drew Brees was the quarterback of the New England Patriots, they would have won quite a few Super Bowls. Probably would have been 4 or 5, just like Tom Brady did. But I do feel like Drew Brees, more accurate than him. I think as far as a deep ball, I think that Tom Brady is better at the deep ball than Drew Brees was, and that's even in a prime. I got to give him that. But I just think that it depends on where you are, where you are, where you land, because if you look at Drew Brees' career when it first started out, San Diego, he wasn't the Drew Brees that we saw, in New Orleans. It was different. You know what I'm saying? It was a different philosophy. It was a different offense, right? Marty Schottenheimer was more of a 3 yards in the cloud of dust type quarterback. I mean, coach. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to run the football and throw the ball out of the backfield and utilize those running backs. So, but I do think that, they both possess certain skills that are better than one another. I would say rugby is worse than the NFL. Rugby, you're allowed to kick someone in the face, punch somebody in the face. Yeah, man, rugby is pretty tough, man. That's the reason why most of those guys don't have no teeth. I'm just ready for the season to start. I'm tired of talking about what could be. Want to see how far they can go. Yeah, I mean, but you're about to get there, man. NFL season is just around the corner. TJ, if you can pick one running back you trade for out of these five, who would you choose and why? Kareem Hunt, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, uh, let me see, Saquon or Dearness Johnson. Um, I would go with Saquon Barkley. I would go with Saquon Barkley because he possesses the same type of skill set as Alvin Kamara. He catch the ball out of the backfield and run in between the tackles. He has really good balance. The only problem with Saquon is the fact that he's been injured throughout his career. But I think it has a lot to do with the carries and him, and not having a balanced attack out there in New York. I don't think that the Giants really trust Daniel Jones to take over a game, throw the ball consistently. I just think that they put a lot on Saquon to perform. So I think the lack of a balanced attack kind of caused him to be injured. All right. But as far as Tony Pollard is concerned, good third down back, really elusive, got really good speed. But I look for guys that can do a little bit of both. I think that that's a bigger threat, and I think it opens up endless possibilities for your offense, right? If you have a guy that is known for just catching the ball out of the backfield, not really known for running between the tackles, teams can become pretty predictable. I think that's something that the Saints struggle with from like 2014 to 2016. It was pretty obvious what the offensive packages were based on who you seen on the field. If you seen Meacham, you know it's probably going to be a streak route. They're going to try to throw the ball down the field. If it was Tavares Cadet, you probably seen it was going to be a screen pass. So I don't really. I think Tony Pollard is a good, solid hand. I think that he's a guy that you can use, and then sometimes he was actually better than Ezekiel Elliott in some games. But not a guy that I would just have on a list. Josh Jacobs is a guy that reminds me a lot of Mark Ingram earlier in his career. He's a little bit ahead of schedule when it comes to catching the ball out of the backfield, more so than Mark was when he first got there. But good solid guy. You can have a good balanced attack with him. Kareem Hunt goes without question. Probably, him and Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, who's probably a little bit on the bigger side, they kind of cut from the same cloth. You know what I'm saying? Those are guys that can never lead the field. So I'm always going to like guys like that. I'm always going to like guys that you never can lead the field because you don't know what the offense is going to do. It makes you even more dangerous. Davenport is done, no full season yet, and no sign that will change. I'm so hating those glass players, man, especially on defense. Well, look, it has been very disappointing to say the least. You draft a guy in the first round, you move up to get him. You want that guy to pan out, you want that guy to play, and you want him to be an Iron Man like Cam Jordan. Davenport suffered from the Cam Jordan effect. Cam Jordan has been an Iron Man for the New Orleans Saints for over 12 years, has not missed a game. And the only time he missed a game was because of COVID protocol, right? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't his arm was hurt, his ankle was hurt, his knee was hurt. You know what I'm saying? This guy's out here and he's playing almost 100% of the snaps. When you have a guy like that, opposite of the guy that is known, you know what I'm saying, for being injured, it's just going to amplify it. It has been disappointing, but you cannot deny when he is on the field, he's a dangerous guy. Now, the best advantage the Saints have is they could re-sign him. And because I don't feel like a team is really just going to back up the Brinks truck to try to pay for Marcus Davenport for limited production. I think that this is one of those issues that guys like Cloudy and all those guys receive, right? Not getting big checks because they've been fragile throughout their career. But I don't think that the Saints should get rid of Marcus Davenport, but I do feel his injury history should affect his bottom line. I mean, it's only fair, right? Teams want to know that the player that they have is durable. And if you haven't shown that you have any level of durability, you have not shown that you can play a full season, then how can you ask for top dollar? Teams want to make sure that they get as much production as possible out of a player before they commit top dollar to that individual. So I do feel like they need to re-sign him back, but not for top dollar. Seen a video of Jameis on Instagram throwing in the rain without the brace, so obviously there's been progress there as well. Yeah, I mean, look, Jameis didn't want to put the brace on during minicamp. You know what I'm saying? It was at the advisement of the Saints and their coaching staff. They wanted to make sure that they gradually bring him along. Wasn't much, rolling out of the pocket and all that kind of stuff going down. They wanted to make sure that they preserved him, which I can respect. Um, Jameis Winston is a competitor. He wants to be the best. It's no surprise that he's ahead of schedule. It's no surprise that he's trying to work himself back. And I think that this is a testament to the type of guy that he actually is. He's a guy that is not taking injury line down. He's not being like, "Woe is me, I'm hurt." He's trying to work his way back. And also, I just think that sometimes well, I don't want to say sometimes. I think we have to suspend our thoughts and our views about ACL injuries because they're not what they used to be. I think back in the days when you tear your ACL, we look at it as a death sentence. But modern medicine has matured so much over the years that, the ACL injury is not the same. Like guys can come back and you won't even notice a difference. It shows you the power of modern medicine, how far we've come, as a society when it comes to some of these injuries. Roger, thank you very much for the $2. Says, do you think the new conditioning coach a good ad? Well, yeah, it's always good. When guys can work on their strength and conditioning and get themselves back to where they need to be. You know what I'm saying? That's always a plus. If you got somebody that can have like different methods and different information about sports medicine and stuff like that, is always good to have a guy like that to help them improve. So I think that's an advantage. I think that's the advantage. TJ, who will start at May's spot till they get off suspension? PJ, yeah, I'm pretty sure PJ Williams will. PJ Williams will start. PJ Williams, they might even put Alontae Taylor out there, at that spot. One or the other, but I would put PJ Williams out there. Kareem would be great, and in my opinion, Pollard is a better back than Zeke. Over the last couple of years, he has. Luckiest Saints win 7 games. Congrats, TJ, for making 5 years. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's been a fun ride. I'm strolling on Facebook and just seeing a clip of the pass interference no call in the playoffs almost broke down in tears, bro. Yeah, man. I mean, it was an embarrassing time for the NFL. It was a horrible time to be a Saints fan. It was, one of those moments where you felt like the Super Bowl was right there and it was taken from you, regardless of how it panned out, and them giving the Saints another chance. We know how momentum works. We know how the game of football works. You give guys opportunities to right the wrongs. It's only a matter of time before they start correcting them. It just wasn't good. What up, TJ? Are you going try to? Am I going to try to what, Paul? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Oh, make any games? Yeah, I'm gonna come to a few games. I'll be at a few games this year. Jared, did you see that Perkins apologized to the Pelicans and their fans, and he's making a donation to the charity in New Orleans? Yeah, I saw that video yesterday. Um, good for the city of New Orleans being able to get a charitable contribution. But look, man, I don't know. These guys are trying to solidify themselves and keep their spots on television. They're willing to say and do anything in order for them to be in that spot. Um, I don't really take his analysis as gospel. You know what I'm saying? It's just a guy with an opinion. Sometimes it can be a controversial opinion, but if somebody can, benefit from his lack of knowledge, his lack of a pulse for the city of New Orleans, then why not? Who that? What's up, family? Hope all is well. Question TJ by DA first draft as Saints head coach. Do you think he was changed the narrative from Saints from showing draft narrative drafted injury prone and project hidden gems? Well, it looked like he has not done that. It seems like to me like he's went with the obvious. Trevor Penning and Chris Olave has been on many same draft boards, many mock drafts. I just think that he didn't complicate things. I think sometimes Sean Payton made the draft more so about him and what he can do with a player and how he can develop a player and how that player fits in his system, more so than actually bringing guys in that are more well known, guys that have played at a high level, guys that have been the best at their position, rather it been a big fish in a small pond or not. And when it comes to like guys like Jackson, the linebacker at Appalachian State, um, DeMarco Jackson, regardless, they tried to get guys that have proven that they're leaders, guys that have like a level of confidence when it comes to like Alontae Taylor. They try to get guys that kind of fit the mold and also a personality of being a leader, guys that can fit in the locker room and not so much like I'm gonna just grab this guy because nobody expect for him to do nothing, so I'm gonna make him do something and everybody gonna talk about how much of a genius I am because I got this guy averaging 23 yards average, what I'm saying, for a catch because all he does is run street routes. Like I think there is a difference. I think there's a huge difference. Baddest sports show, Boomer Sison. Yeah, Boomer Sison and I want to say Ken Anderson also appeared in the Super Bowl. So they appeared what twice, if I'm mistaken. But I think Ken Anderson was a very underrated quarterback. As a matter of fact, wouldn't surprise me in the next couple of years. He's one of those quarterbacks that end up going into the Hall of Fame, part of that like legendary class. Say hi if you can see this message. Husky, how you doing? Let's see. What's good, fam? Giants are goats. Um, I assume you're talking about goat in the other way, lowercase goats. We're gonna put JC on Michael Thomas. Well, that's good to hear. Be a good matchup. The Giants have never valued the O line during his tenure. That's the problem. I guess we're talking about Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Yeah, that is true because you know Saquon Barkley' ability to break tackles and a lot of his big runs came from like his effort, not so much at the offensive line. It was like his effort and his balance and breaking tackles and stuff like that. If you allow him to have an offensive line where he can like run through the holes, like the dude will lead the league in rushing. You know what I'm saying? That's how talented the dude is. But I just think that because he's such a big guy, he has a good Lewis, what I'm saying, like, lower body strength, what I'm saying? Like they use that to their advantage and they try to wear this dude down, what I'm saying, instead of trying to build up offensive line to help him, reach like certain personal goals, you know, and also organizational goals. Drew Brees and Joe Montana are the most accurate quarterbacks in NFL history. I throw Troy Aikman in there too. Troy Aikman was pretty accurate too. He's probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks. I think that people don't remember like Troy Aikman. Yeah, I think he kind of underrated, as a quarterback because you had Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin on your team, and then you had Deion Sanders and the Great Wall of Dallas, one of the best offensive lines of all time. But man, Troy Aikman was pretty accurate in his own right. Like it was like plenty of years where he led the league in completion percentage. What all do but let me see. We all do but think we're going to make another move to bring in another vet or two. We might. I mean, who knows how the training camp might end up? Who knows what you might end up seeing in preseason? May not be happy. Russell Wilson is definitely accurate. Yeah, Russell Wilson, best deep ball passer in the National Football League to me. I think Patrick Mahomes is accurate, but I just think that Russell Wilson has the best accuracy on the deep ball in the NFL. I mean, Josh Allen up there with him too. His last 3 years in San Diego, he was becoming a better quarterback. Yeah, he was. Of course, he made the Pro Bowl. He made it very complicated, out there with Phillip Rivers being drafted, by the San Diego Chargers. Yeah, he did. He was becoming better. He was starting to show flashes of improvement and stuff like that. But I just think that it would have, I don't know how it would have panned out, because I don't think that he would have had the career that he would have had. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I often say, like, organizations matter, schemes matter, your coaching matters. So because Drew Brees was going into like his, what I'm saying, like becoming a free agent. So if he would never got that rotator cuff injury, based on how well he played because he hurt himself, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was having his best season ever. He hurts himself. But if he wasn't to hurt himself in that game, then more than likely he probably would have went to a team that had a really big salary cap. Big, and most of those teams have those big salary caps because they lose, right? So he probably would have ended up going to a team. Who knows? They would just say Miami. And Nick Saban was the coach where the players didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't want to be there. He wanted to go back to college. Or you probably would end up going somewhere like the Jets or something like that, a team that had been snake bitten for years, but just so happened to have a big salary cap and willing to pay you. So I think this was the best thing that ever happened to Drew Brees. It came in a form of a tragedy, but I don't think that Drew Brees would have had the career he had if he didn't end up in New Orleans. I think he would have been good. I think he would have been a solid quarterback. Heck, I even think he probably would have made a playoff or two. But I don't think that a coach would have gave him the leeway and the ability to really exercise his talents like Sean Payton did if he would have went anywhere else but the Saints. I just think that it was just a match made in heaven. It helped. It helped both guys. It helped both guys. Yes, TJ, congrats, young man. By the way, your son is definitely your twin. Yeah, man. Yeah, I love my son, man. Yeah, definitely growing. Man, it's just amazing to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go back and you look at some of the pictures, or sometimes you get the memory notifications on your phone every day, and you see your son, your daughter growing, and it's amazing to see, man. Best thing in my life is being a dad and being a husband. I often say that because it's true, man. TJ, I believe Mike T will remind the NFL why he was a consistent 1,000-yard receiver every year before he got hurt. I think everybody knows how talented he is. I just think that it's easy to dismiss Saints players, right? It's easy to do that because to me, they don't want the Saints to be a part of the status quo. They don't want the Saints to be great, right? They don't want the Saints to, like, what I'm saying, like, to be up there. And anytime they can, like, dismiss any accomplishment, rather from organization or player, they'll do it. They know how good this dude is. Kendrick Perkins is still the man who won the New Orleans Pelicans to be moved to Seattle. Never going to forget the man who won the New Orleans Pelicans to be wanted the New Orleans Pelicans to be moved to Seattle. Never going to forget. Well, look, he can say whatever he want, man, but he's not from there. He don't understand like the love that people have for the New Orleans Pelicans. But I also think that Kendrick Perkins really did a good thing. Like, in the midst of that controversial, uh, you know, hot take that he had, I think it woke up a lot of people to really embrace this team more, to let people know, like, man, we appreciate this team. You had some people, they like the Pelicans. What I'm saying, they'll go to the game, they enjoy it, but they wasn't really paying that much attention to what the Pelicans doing as much as they probably would with the Saints. But by his comments, it made them embrace the Pelicans even more. You know what I'm saying? It made them, like, because we all know how it go, man. If you from the city, if you from New Orleans, from the Gulf Coast area, um, man, we have a us against the world type mentality, right? If you call us, you know what I'm saying, and we ain't sent for you, it's a problem, right? And we're going to make sure that you eat crow. We're going to make sure that if you put our back against the wall or you make us feel like offended in any way, like, we gonna make you feel some type of way about it. It was a bad take. Shouldn't have been said. And New Orleans is going to make you understand it. I mean, that's just how it works. Like anybody from the city knows that. Like New Orleans has a us against the world type mentality. Like we are not impressed by outside entities that much. You know what I'm saying? Like we love what's ours, right? From the local bounce rappers, from the local hip hop artists that come out of the city, from the sports teams. Okay, we don't care what you think about our squad. We love them and we appreciate them, and we don't care what you think. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's just how it works. And that was just a bad call, man. That was just a bad call. Like it's always been that way. Like New Orleans is not one of those cities where people just, like you go to some cities and stuff like that, celebrities show up, and all of a sudden people just crowd them and all that kind of stuff. Man, you think like it's the reason why like so many celebrities love coming to the city, where they can walk around the city and nobody cares who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like we leave people alone. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not impressed by that. Like we feel like we popping. We know we popping. If you don't give us the credit for popping, like we're gonna show you why we popping. Like, come on, man. We like, New Orleans is a very influential city, period. And I think he found that out. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm the one that put Sean and Breeze together. Thank you for the $2. Yeah, I get, I guess it was like a little bit of divine intervention on that, you know. We'll take a few more and then we're gonna get up out of here. Yo, I don't care what the media says. I believe the Saints offense is gonna make them eat crow. I think our offense is top five. Well, like I said, it has to be put together on the field. It's not about paper. Paper, you know what I'm saying, kind of makes us, you know, get excited, you know what I'm saying, makes us happy and all that kind of stuff, man. But you got to be able to execute. Got to be able to execute. You got to be able to put it on the field. Like, no matter how much talent you got on paper, if you can't put it on the field, it's all for naught. Ted Thompson would have screwed the team up had Breeze stayed. Um, mm, I don't. Probably. I'll say probably. Y'all act like Rodgers ain't played professional football. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks, also. Yeah, I mean, look, he's definitely one of the most accurate, but we're talking about accuracy, like all time and stuff like that. I mean, of course, like you got plenty of quarterbacks that are accurate. You know what I'm saying? That could fall into that category. I mean, if you want to be honest, Kirk Cousins is an accurate quarterback. Like people don't look at him like that because people look at him as Captain Mediocre. But I mean, he's an accurate quarterback. Who else can I put out there? A person that a lot of people don't really pay that much attention to, but it's pretty accurate. Jimmy Garoppolo, you know what I'm saying, at times. You know what I'm saying? Like the only like Jimmy Garoppolo is an accurate quarterback, except when he's rolling out of the pocket. Like for some wrong reason, like that ball is sail on that boy. But for the most part, he's accurate. You know what I'm saying? Like all quarterbacks, has a certain level of accuracy, but we talking about all time. Like Drew Brees is the most accurate quarterback of all time. Rather you want to look at it from a statistical standpoint, from a eye test standpoint, he just that guy. That's just it. You know what I'm saying? Troy Aikman, like just go and look at his numbers. You know what I'm saying? Even though he did not throw the ball as much as like modern day NFL quarterback throwing for 300 plus yards every week, because he didn't have to. But when he had to throw the football, it was where it needed to be. So there you go, man. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always, I mean, you can go down a list about guys, accuracy and all that kind of stuff. Um, Best quarterback in NFL history is Breeze. He's the most accurate ever on deep balls, short passes, and mid-range passes. He's the best to ever do it, hands down. Only Marino and Rodgers could even touch him. Well, like man, all this is just comparison. You know what I'm saying? Like we can say these statements, Josh, and you know what I'm saying, you're entitled to that. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, they can say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know what I'm saying? Like great quarterbacks is the eye of the individual. You know what I'm saying? Like you're always going to have somebody that feels a certain way, and honestly, they might have a compelling argument. You know, like so. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer about this. You know, it is about your preference. Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Drew Brees, and accuracy. Yes, the Cincinnati Bengals been to the Super Bowl 3 times in their history. Yep. I took my son to the park, and when we got home, we found this goldfish dead, which is a tough situation for any parent. How do you explain auto erratic to a 4-year-old? Well, look, um, it's suffocation. Look, man, it's funny you say that. I had the same situation that happened. So a couple weeks ago, I bought Paxton a fish tank. We went to the pet store, and we got the aquarium. We got it set up, put the water in and stuff like that. You know, put the filter in. So we end up going to PetSmart, and something I would never ever do again. But I purchased $50 worth of fish, like these different type of fish, all these different colorful fish. But then it just so happened when I put them in, chlorine ended up killing them. I mean, I feel bad about this. But then it was funny because I don't want to say it's funny, but I ended up picking him up from daycare and he came running over to the fish tank, but they ain't had no fish in there. So he was confused, like, where the fish at? Couldn't tell him, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to talk to him about that just yet. So I ended up having to go back to the pet store and I ended up buying these dollar fish. They were like 6 for $1. So put all 6 of those in there. Same thing happened. Needless to say, I have not put any fish back in the tank. So yeah, it is a tough situation to happen. It's definitely like one of those things that you don't feel uncomfortable about talking to your kids about. But yeah, yeah, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Nah, I mean, you could like if the kid hadn't seen them, you could probably go back to the store and probably replace them. You know, you can, and they won't know the difference until you feel comfortable about having those conversations. I don't know. I don't know what really to say, but I've been in that same situation. Honestly, as an Eagle fan, I keep trying to steer our fan base away from delusions. Our a top 10 pick via New Orleans, our fan base is drastically underrated. The Saints. Yeah, I mean, but I expect them to, Jeremiah. You know, like I don't knock other fan bases for not understanding other fan bases. Like as an Eagle fan, you're gonna always know more about the Eagles than a Saints fan or a Giants fan or a Cowboy fan. You know what I'm saying? Or a Commanders fan. Like you're gonna know more about that than them, right? So when you look at the Saints and you look at quarterback Jameis Winston, and the narrative has been he's not very good, and no matter what the Saints put around him or however the team is constructed, because they have him, they're not going to be very good. I mean, you're going to kind of believe that, you know what I'm saying? And it's going to buy into your narrative. Like, because a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, are not going to look at that information. Most people want to hear information that's going to reinforce their own beliefs already. So if you want the Saints to stink, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna go and gravitate towards things that tell you the Saints are not going to be good. So it can reinforce your belief that you can get a top pick. But as a Saints fan, a person that follows this team quite consistently, a fan of this team since I can remember, I can tell you, this is a good football team. This is a good organization. And if anybody think for it had to be some very very tragic if they think the Saints are going to be a top 5 team, I think they sadly mistaken. I really think they do. And if they are a top 5 team, I'm gonna just be real with you. I don't know if Dennis Allen needs to keep his job. It's just simple as that. It's just simple as that. I mean, I'm just being real. Like, if you're up there picking in the top 5, with the same coaching staff, same adversity that Sean Payton went through, and you can even honestly make an argument to say the situation that Sean went through was worse, and you're not able to at least pick it in the teens. I think that we need to reevaluate the coaching position. And I don't feel like that's too premature because this is not somebody that just came here off the turnip truck and brought his whole coaching staff up in this thing and you know what I'm saying, you got to rebuild because the team has been trashed. No, no. Saints were in the playoffs the year before, lost in the divisional round, had some setbacks this past season. I mean, last season, didn't make the playoffs, but they won 9 games. So there's no excuse for that. Like, there's no excuse for you not to be at least, you know what I'm saying, like picking in the teams. Most accurate podcaster in history, TJ Jones. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. TJ, I recently watched highlights of every game Jameis played last season, and I came away very encouraged with his with his improved accuracy, decision making, and ball. Um, that's all you can ask for. You know, look, I think that Jameis Winston got better. Uh, the thing that really made me confident as a fan was the fact that Jameis learned from the mistakes that he made every single game. So if he made an erratic throw, or you know what I'm saying, he was supposed to eat a sack, he'll come out the next week and eat the sack. You know what I'm saying? Like, he learned from his mistakes. But some people were like so hell bent and looking at the TV so close, like you look at an ant with a magnifying glass, or you know what I'm saying, you're looking at cells through a microscope. Um, they weren't able to see the things that he improved on. They didn't see that. They didn't recognize that, or they didn't want to acknowledge that. And that's what I got a problem with. You know, like if you have a problem with somebody and you don't think they're good, fine. All right. But allow that person to be able to change the narrative. You know, I just, you know, I don't know, man. I just think that some people like have their reservations about James. It will never change. Aaron, no matter what he did, whether it was positive, you're going to ignore that. And if it's negative, you're going to amplify that because you already set up in your mind that, you know, he's not good enough. But I have a tendency of trying to look at players and seeing if they improve. If they, like, people were like bashing Paulson Adebo the first Falcon game when Cordell Patterson got behind him for that 60-yard game. People were like, oh man, he ain't it. He ain't it. And I'm like, dude is a rookie. You know what I'm saying? I even like remember like when he first got with the Saints, I'm like, you probably gonna see some growing pains. He a rookie. And I said, you probably gonna be doing some stuff that probably caused you to pull your hair out, you know what I'm saying, be frustrated, but he's a rookie. But as time went on, you start to see a little bit more consistency at that position. And it all culminated towards the last 2 games of the season when he played some of his best ball. See, we have to pay attention to what these guys are actually doing, and we have to acknowledge the improvements that they made and understand and see, are those improvements grounds for a complete 360, or you know what I'm saying, is this something that this team can actually win with? Uh, I see improvement, which was a positive thing. Them dollar fish, thank you very much for $2. Said, please keep Paxton away from us. He'll kill us all. Well, now Paxton ain't had nothing to do with that. And it was more the chlorine and stuff like that that they had inside of the water. I'm gonna take a few more and then I gotta go ahead and go, folks. Because most people that talk about football don't really know about football. Look, I don't want to say people don't know about football. I think that we have to kind of put this in, you know, certain categories. And they're inevitable, you know, like you know football, right? I mean, you called the show a couple of times. You're very like candid about your takes, your knowledge, your comments. You know more about football more so than others. There are people out here that are casual. They probably just know certain things like the roster and what they expect for the team to do. I think there's levels to this, right? Everybody shouldn't have like a sports talk show because if you don't take the time to really be embedded and knee deep in the knowledge, it's not going to come off the right way. There are certain levels of knowledge that some people know more than others. Like if you understand like certain football, what positions and what positions do, then guess what? That's knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, my wife is not a really big football fan. But if I ask her who Alvin Kamara is, she's like, oh, he's the guy that runs the football. He's the running back. She'll tell you know what I'm saying? But she's not sitting up there every single week watching the game with me. She know who Jameis Winston is, of course. I mean, she knows who Jameis is. She's from Alabama too. But it's, you know, like it's levels to that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't expect for everybody to know every single thing inevitable. I mean, it's not really designed for that. Now, that's where people like yourself and myself come in. You know what I'm saying? To be able to, kind of simplify the game for individuals to make it, more easier to understand. You know what I'm saying? I just think, it just, certain knowledge. I want to say, people don't know football. If I say you don't know football, I don't mean like I've said this statement before, but it's more like, man, you don't know what you talk about in that particular situation. That I can agree with. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the reason why you shouldn't talk so loudly if you don't know something about a situation. You shouldn't just be talking just to talk, just to fit in the situation. If you haven't done the work, if you don't have a certain understanding of it, don't let that be to heal you down. Be willing to like listen to what other people have to say about the situation. Then of course do your own research and draw your own conclusion based on that. But yes, us Saints fans are going to know more about Saints football than Jeremiah with the Eagles or that Vikings fan that was here. You know what I'm saying? Or the Panthers fan that was here. You know what I'm saying? You're going to know more about the Saints than they knew about their respective teams. And we're going to listen to things that reinforce our beliefs and our fandom. Rather, we're a Saints fan. Like, I'm pretty sure if you're a Saints fan here, you listen to more Saints content than anybody else. Now, you probably go and watch ESPN. You probably know what's going on with the Cowboys. Probably know what's going on with the Falcons, you know what I'm saying, to a certain extent. You probably know who they drafted and all that kind of stuff. But you're going to listen to people like me, people like Hoodie, people like Big Q, you know what I'm saying, people like CB, people like Deuce and Ross, you know what I'm saying? You're going to listen to people like that more than those other people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't expect for any other fan of any other team to have this, just love and passion like we have for the Saints. Not happening. Teach, I think this will be a magical season. How you feel about Mike T running them routes? I love it. Please, I asked everybody to hit the like button. We got 112 people here right now. Please hit the like button. You think he's going to be the old Mike T? Only to answer both of your questions, official. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. I hope that he end up being the Mike T that we want him to be. I hope he end up being the player that he once was, going back to his All-Pro ways. But only time will tell, man. That was a very devastating injury. So devastating that you missed nearly 2 years. And I don't think that it's going to change overnight. But if those videos are any indication of what's to come, you have to like the progress and you got to like what the future holds for number 13. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Once again, actually, everybody hit that like button on the way out. Also, I want to remind everybody about the new podcast entitled The Therapy Couch Podcast. Therapy Couch Podcast will be available this week. It's a different podcast. It's not a sports podcast, but it's a podcast for individuals to, help with mindfulness, meditation, people that deal with anxiety, depression. Look, man, social media, can kind of take a huge toll on a lot of people. Like sometimes we find ourselves lining our regular life up against people's highlights. It causes us to be depressed. It causes us to have anxiety. It causes us to really start to reevaluate our own self in ways that we shouldn't, right? And sometimes there's not always a person around that's going to be able to listen to us talk, to be able to express some of the things that we need to express, to be able to help us to be able to navigate the feelings that we have. And I just think that it was just a necessary podcast to have. So the Therapy Couch podcast that's going to be available really, really soon. I hope that everybody check it out. And if it's not for you, that's fine. But it's all about just helping people and creating a safe space for them. All right. Roger says, to be honest, TJ, I'm ready for you to blow up. Man, I'm already blowing up, to be honest with you. I'm already, you know what I'm saying? I'm here, I'm doing what I love to do. So that's a plus for me. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Also, man, check out Facebook.com, search The State of Saints Podcast. You can go to the main channel page here on YouTube and click that link. It'll bring you directly to the Facebook page. You can follow me on Twitter at TJ Jones8, TJAY Jones8. Till next time, all I got to say is, who that?